You're live.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Guy Atchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community Network. My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. This is a place for tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious, where we encourage you to join in on these live streams, real-world events, share and inspire the ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo in either app stores, Apple or Google, and on YouTube. All these shows can be watched at www.reinventingthetattoo.com, as well as some of the other shows playing all the time. On Sundays at 1 p.m., we have the Reinventing the Drawing Group with Jason Leeser. Skill Building Sunday is what we call it. Monday at 9 a.m. for Tattooers with James Wisdom. Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom. Great show. 11 a.m. the Tattoo Weekly. 5 p.m. Let's Talk About Feelings with Robbie Ripple. And 9 p.m. we have the RIT Subscribers Edition with Guy Atchison, where we sit down with them and draw and go over techniques and things that are in the book. Tuesdays 10 a.m. right here with me, Ricardo Sturdivant. Tuesday Feels. Wednesdays 1 p.m. is Tattoo Now show. And Thursdays at 6 p.m. we have the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast. Okay, now that we get that out of the way, let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Morgan is here with us this morning. Amber, Morgan, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Just kind of hanging out at the shop. Getting the day started and getting ready to do some drawing for today's tattoo.
Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna do some wings on her chest and some lettering and stuff like that over the clavicle. I tattooed this guy before, and he sits like a rock. I don't know if you remember, I did that. What was it? That skull with the headdress on his ribs. Yeah, that guy. So it's gonna be pretty incredible. And I think we have Lauren in the waiting room here with us, and I know she's out at Jiminy Peak right now.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going, Lauren?
It's going really well. I'm early morning. We're preparing breakfast for everybody here at Jiminy Peak at the Needle Jig Meetup, the Northeast Needle Jig Meetup, which is pretty fantastic so far. So right now, I'm kind of in a great setting to show you guys if you've never been here. Amber, I'm not sure if you have.
No, it's gorgeous out there.
Yep. Let's hope I don't throw my computer. This is just me streaming from a laptop.
Don't drop it.
There's been some really great information. Last night there was a barn owl that stayed really close to us. I know that the animals are incredibly friendly.
Wow,
Gabe is
cool.
here as well, so he's been running the tech. What's up, Kyle? He says good morning.
Good morning, Kyle.
So some of the things that happened here that I've been educated on so far was with Aaron from TatCon last night. I think everybody's mind was blown here, Ricardo, with some of the things that Aaron has showed us. Oh, hey, we do have a very special guest with us as well.
Say hello. Hey, Jason, Mr. Lisa.
Hey guys,
man.
How's it going?
Going good, man. Good morning.
Good morning to you guys as well. It is a gorgeous day here at Jiminy Peak. Just looking at the clouds and how they're like sitting right on top of the mountains is awesome. Yeah, hi Medusa.
And we also have Medusa as well. I was kind of hinting at some of the education that's been going on.
What up?
Medusa.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Hi.
Medusa slays.
No, this morning Medusa fucking stinks. I'm having coffee, but don't talk to me till after I finish this.
Well, good morning to you too.
Yep. We have all our cameras here, and yet I'm holding a laptop.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So,
Go
but
Yeah,
yeah,
exercising that arm by balancing it.
So you guys missed a couple of amazing seminars yesterday. Absolutely phenomenal seminar by Renee. I would also like to thank Mark, who went through his needle seminar, which was extremely enlightening. He even gave out like a packet to hold on to, and it's extremely informative. Everyone here has been amazing, and I can't wait for today's seminars to begin.
That's radical, man. How was
So
the flight and the
Toronto
trip,
flight?
everybody?
So today we've got a couple of new seminars coming up, one from TATCOM, talking about tattoo equipment power, the future of tattooing as far as machines go. So that's going to be really fascinating and interesting. We also have a nipple restoration seminar coming up from
I'm
Fast
excited about
Alley.
that.
Can't
Oh,
wait
very
for that
cool.
one.
Yeah.
She's based out of New Jersey, and she's actually not that far away from me. So I'm going to start making trips up to see her. As well, we got to see a full Philip Blue bodysuit yesterday. That was amazing.
What? No
Oh,
way.
yeah.
No
and
way.
Jeff Gogway leg sleeve. That was
Oh
incredible.
man, dude.
Yeah,
like-
yeah. The big guns were coming out yesterday.
Were you just floored or what? I mean, what happened? Did like the light shine from behind it and like angels started singing and stuff
Pretty
like that, or
much.
what? Yeah, like
Yeah, there were angels that came out from it, and like you couldn't really actually look at it because it was so glorious.
yeah,
Like no
Exactly.
human eye can really take in everything that's there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
yeah.
But
Like, don't mind me. I'm just gonna touch your leg and your tattoo.
No,
and-
he brought a horde of people over to be all like, hey, can we look at your leg? Can you pull your pants up again?
And there it was. Philip Blue Dragon Tail mixing into Jeff Gogway leg sleeve. And then she pulled up her other leg and it was just all Jeff all the way up. And then
Wow,
she's like,
dude.
yeah, and Philip did my back and showed us her back. Turns out the Philip Blue bodysuit that was here, I actually already have pictures of because I saw it when I was at the London show in 2017.
Wow, check that out.
Honestly, there's such amazing skin art here that, frankly, I don't think anybody should be wearing clothes. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that in a perverted way. I'm saying there are people here who really spend a buttload of money to look good naked. And I think
Yeah.
everybody here is going to thoroughly appreciate that without being weird about it. Stop laughing.
We just need nipple
That's
covers
not
and
gonna-
thongs,
it's not
right?
everybody be naked.
At the very least, you
Oh.
could just get some nipple covers and some thongs. Let's just hand them out at the front door.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go full Shidoshi. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, hi,
So-
Amber.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Well, that's really cool, man. I'd really.
You're having a great time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ricardo, I'm taking notes for you, bud.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see those tattoos if you guys get a chance too. I'm sure you've probably taken some photos of them and stuff, but no.
Nope. Didn't
Oh,
take
man.
any pictures.
Just
I-
for
That's
us.
an in-person kind of event
Yeah, you know,
alone.
one
Yeah.
of the benefits of being
That's what I
in
get for not
person-
being there, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I'm
I
sorry.
may, and we'll see what happens. But depending on their next trip over to see Philip, I may try to work it out so I can join them.
What? That's awesome.
Awesome.
Nice, dude.
The benefits of joining us at Jiminy Peak.
Yeah, all through
Yes.
reinventing the tattoo.
We're gonna get matching jackets.
Oh yeah, sweet.
Gang now.
Yo, if he's got,
For a
I'm telling you
crew.
right now, if Philip Blue has one of those like old, like 90s style, like windbreaker jackets.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
rock
dude.
That. I'm
Totally.
gonna be like, yeah, right here, baby.
You gotta get some matching pants with that thing.
Yo,
Wear
I
some
would, man.
Adidas.
I'd go full velour suit if I
A
could.
whole tracksuit.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do it right.
Well,
Make sure and
also,
get the
by
bucket hat.
do you guys remember the last Jiminy Peak? You can watch the seminars and stuff too.
Mhm.
There's that cool one that TATCOM will be a very cool seminar today.
Yeah.
Like what he showed us yesterday, I don't even know how to hint at. It's just really interesting.
Spoiler alert. It's awesome.
It's nerdy.
That's not even a spoiler.
If
That's
you-
just titillating.
if you-
Nerdy,
The
it's for me.
technical side of tattooing and like tattoo technology and the science behind tattooing. This seminar is going to be like none of it. We've
Nice.
got leading industry professionals that have sat down and done scientific studies and research on this stuff. And it's like, they're bestowing their knowledge upon us and what they found through all of their hours and hours and hours and hours of hard work. So I can't be more thankful to even just be a part of this and be exposed to that. So
I
it's going to be
think
awesome.
a little hint would be that the TATCOM thing was so cool and pretty fascinating that Mark even started talking about it during his seminar.
Yeah.
Which had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
Hi.
If you guys would like to say. hi,
Speaking of the man in the plan himself.
we're,
Morning, sir.
kind of commenting on what's
Morning.
going on here in Jiminy Peak.
How goes it?
It's going pretty well, man.
All right.
Yeah,
We're
good to
just
see you.
enjoying breakfast.
Yes, we are.
There you go.
I say hi to.
I don't know what to do.
It's okay, but
Good.
so the seminar we were talking about starts in about 45 minutes. So if we're able to, we'll show you like a little bit of footage of people, and then you guys can follow any links if you'd like to watch.
Very cool.
Bye, Ricardo.
That's awesome.
Have to go and
See you later,
eat.
Jason.
Get hangry.
Yep, the seminar
Okay, man.
close
Good
soon,
to
so
see you
I'm gonna
guys.
also just turn my video off and let you guys do your thing.
Okay.
And I'll be here in the background if you need anything.
Okay, great. Sounds
A
good.
little
Thank
bit,
you.
we'll be walking down, so I'll turn my video back on when we do that, you guys, because I know if I could go into detail of the amount of nerdiness I got into last night, I wouldn't have breakfast. I wouldn't have time for breakfast today.
Dang. Okay. That's
It's,
awesome.
Aaron from TATCOM has really shown us some cool stuff. So I will kind of preview that here in about 45 minutes.
Okay, cool.
All
Sounds
right.
good. See you later.
See you then.
Oh, wow, man. What a great trip, huh?
Mhm.
Starting to feel bad that I missed that thing.
Me too. I'm looking forward to them bringing back all that information and sharing it on their podcast. So
Right. Right. Exactly.
Jason did that one thing one time where he took apart a cartridge and we went through all the little pieces and everything.
Oh,
I like
wow.
it
Okay.
when he brings back information like that from seminars and
Okay.
shares it.
Was
But
that on
anyway,
one of the?
Sign off, guys. I'll
That's
show you
important.
the little preview on the website too, so everyone can see what it is.
Let's check it out. Oh, before you sign off, okay. I'm sorry, Amber. You were saying that he took apart a cartridge. Was that on one of his
Yeah.
Sunday
That was one on
drawings?
I'm pretty sure it was one of the Sunday drawing groups where we
Nice.
had started talking about cartridges and he took it apart and I took mine apart too. We all did and just looked at the different parts of the cartridge and what they're for and whether, the difference between good cartridges and not so good cartridges and all of that stuff.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, remember, guys, if you get a chance, you can always pull up the episodes on YouTube, and give it a thorough look and stuff like that. It looks like Lauren was just pulling up the web, Jiminy Peak event that she's at right now. So if you guys get a chance, check that out. That's awesome, man. I didn't hear about that one. I'm sorry that I missed that. That's some very good information. You know what I mean?
I geek out over tattoo, the technical side of tattoos just as much as the artistic side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The more you
My-
know about your tools, the better you do.
It's really true. It's really true. It's in this day and age with the tattoo industry, it's really hard to kind of delve into some of that stuff. You're so concerned and worried about taking things apart, whereas the old coil machines, it was a lot more accessible. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
things are much smaller and a little more electronic and things like that too now. You know what I mean? So people were a little bit more apprehensive about taking some of the things apart, but it's a pretty good idea to kind of like take some stuff like that apart for sure, like a cartridge. You know what I mean? Just set
Yeah.
one aside from couple different companies and see what the differences are. And it's always good to have one of those little magnifying glasses for your eye, so you can kind of take a look at the tapers and the quality of the the blends on the needles themselves and stuff like that. Yeah, look at that. You got a few of them.
Separate magnifying loop that clips right
Okay.
on my glasses.
Oh, right on. That's awesome. What do you use
I
that
use it
for?
for a lot though, because I paint fingernails and they're tiny.
Uh-huh.
So I have to look through a magnifying glass to paint them. I got a SpongeBob set I got to do this week.
Nice. That's fun. So you use like tiny little brushes then, huh?
Yeah, some of the brushes I use have maybe 3 hairs in them. They're
Okay.
really tiny.
Nice. That's crazy. I've sat around with some X's and things like that and painted fingernails and things like that, but it was very basic. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
splot that stuff on. But I've seen some pretty cool nail art. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I do sets that are $50 to $70 a piece because they're all hand painted and custom.
Oh wow. Yeah.
and they're reusable.
Okay.
So
It
yeah,
looks like,
fine. You spend that much on a set of nails and you're going to be able to reuse them many times.
yeah, I bet. Looks like Bruno Salvatierra is in the chat saying good morning. Good morning, brother. How are you doing today? Yeah, Bruno's a good guy. Kyle is also in the chats. It's a good day today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be working on a chess piece today, so let me get some lettering and stuff together. I usually go on. Usually, a lot of times I'll get some inspiration from. Do you have a place that you go to for your lettering, Amber?
For my lettering,
Hmm?
I'm old school. I have books.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's a good way. That's a good place to go, right?
I'm old school. I have tons of books on lettering and calligraphy and illuminated lettering and you name it.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. I've been introduced to thefont.com a little while back, and that's a pretty good resource for sure. There's a ton of stuff on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You know what I mean? A lot of times you can just kind of type in, you find the style of font that you want, and you type in the word, and it'll kind of like set it up for you and stuff like that too.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, I found it saves a lot of time on like a lot of the real thin handwritten kind of lettering that a lot of people like, you know.
Yeah.
That's really good for that. And then there's a ton of different styles of like old English font and stuff like that too. So I like it. I mean, it's not too bad.
I'm going to have to check that out because I'm always looking for something to streamline my process.
Oh yeah, yeah. It helps out so much. It saves so much time and things like that. You know what I mean? But it's pretty cool. It's dafont, DAFONT.com.
I will definitely check that out.
Yeah. So last night was pretty fun. I got to lead the drawing class last night for a guy on his drawing group. Yeah, I was super nervous the whole time, but that's the way it goes. But it was a good time. We went over the flow and fit of a sleeve and stuff like that, so that was pretty fun.
Cool.
So here, I'll show you real quick. Let me just flip this camera around real fast. There you go. So you can see that I found a style of font that I liked, you know, for this letter. And all I did was type it into this bar here. And hang on one second. I'm so sorry. My camera went blank, didn't it?
Only for a split second.
Okay, cool. All right, there we go. So I typed it in here on this search bar, and it gives it right there. Boom.
Nice.
Yep. And then I'll just kind of screenshot that and then share it to my Procreate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Super fast, super effective.
I found this tattoo printer I'm saving up for that is Bluetooth.
Oh,
that
wow.
will
Okay.
connect right to your iPad.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's like $400, but you know, I'm saving for that. That's definitely going to streamline a lot for me.
Yeah, for sure. I bet. Yeah. I'm fortunate enough to be in a shop with people that we rent this giant like office size printer, you know what I mean? It's like an industrial kind of thing. And it's awesome. It's got so many different functions and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. And you can just kind of sync up to the same Wi-Fi that it's on. And you can send it from your phone, you can send it from your iPad and stuff like that. But
nice.
yeah. If it's like an individual thing, like what you're talking about, then that makes much more sense to just have a Bluetooth capability for it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm still getting over that cold that's been going around.
It seems like they've been going around and around. As soon as you get over it, the next thing you know, somebody gives you another one.
Dude, it's crazy these days. I don't even know what to think of it. But yeah. Let's see here what we got going on in the chat. Yeah. Oh, Kyle said I did great. Thank you very much, Kyle. I appreciate that. Today is the day right now. Yeah. Last night I'm working with a client of mine. We're doing this whole like real cohesive kind of sleeve. And he wants a bunch of like he wants a punk rock kind of theme to it. You know what I mean? So, and he wants the female figure and things like that, but he doesn't want to over glorify like the nudity or like over glorify like the woman's figure too much. You know what I mean? So like, it's pretty fun. So we kind of dressed her up a little bit with some leather and some jean jackets and things like that. And people had some really cool ideas that I might take some of them or borrow some of them, as an artist
Yeah.
would say, right? Yeah, that's the way that goes. So
Bad artists
But-
steal, good artists borrow.
yeah, the greatest compliment you can get is somebody stealing your work, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep saying that to myself. So that way I'm not feeling too bad about it. Oh man. Sometimes these tools on this thing won't work. But anyways. Yeah, so have you been working on anything fun lately, Amber?
Actually, yeah, I'm working on a series of watercolor greeting cards.
Oh, that's fun.
I've been making greeting cards since I was pregnant with my daughter 26 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And it just it's not even a side hustle. It's just something I like to do.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I sell some, usually to family members or friends that are like, I need stationery, I need greeting cards. What do you got?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm big on giving cards for all kinds of reasons, not just birthdays or get well soon or
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to kind of just like make somebody's day with like some nice words, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. The best gifts are the ones where it's not expected too, it's just because.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you there, dude.
I actually
It's like-
just finished a project for an acrylic painting. A friend of mine's husband passed away a few years ago, and he used to make handmade wooden toys.
Okay.
And I had a couple of them, and I had this truck that he made that never got painted. So I painted it with like a desert silhouette scene with the sunset, and then I painted the top all dark with the night sky and a full moon.
That's
And
awesome.
then I gave it to her as a present because I knew she'd love it.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah, that's
wasn't
cool.
expecting it at all. No birthday, nothing. Just, I thought you would absolutely love this.
Yeah, killer, man. What did she say to you?
She cried.
Of course. That's a good thing to do, though. Right? Like,
people
try
make-
it in a good way.
Yes,
Not a
I
bad
love
way.
happy tears.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's always good. Yeah, that's awesome.
She's one of my biggest fans.
Oh, she's very supportive, huh?
Yes, every time I'm like, I don't like this. It's shit. I could have done a better job. I should have done a better job. She's like, that looks like you just picked it out of a garden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm really appreciative that you think so and that you feel that way. My eye is so much more critical than my friends.
Yeah, I hear that term a lot. I hear the term imposter syndrome a lot these days,
Yes.
especially with artists and stuff like that I've been surrounding myself with. You know what I mean? And it's crazy to think that, the way we think, it's like we have these senses. I just saw this thing this morning. I shared it with some friends about how crazy it is that we forget that thinking is another one of our senses. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We have sight, we have smell, we have touch and taste and stuff like that, but we forget that thinking is another one of those senses. You know what I mean? And it's incredible how we convince ourselves of so many negative things sometimes, when if that's really the case and you've convinced yourself that you're not good enough, and all you have to really do is start thinking that you are good enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That whole fake it till you make it thing or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
That when you put that positive thought of I am good enough in it, it makes your art better.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it doesn't just make your art better. I think it's crazy because our art actually comes from like our thoughts as well, and if you are sitting there and the filter that you're running your art through is such a negative kind of connotation to begin with, then it's going to come out as bad as you want it to be, you
Yeah.
know? And if you sit there and you realize that you are capable of so many things, all it takes is really convincing yourself, So if you want to get better, just tell yourself you're going to get better. And you
Yeah,
want to be
Robbie
better.
Robbie and Dustin were talking about that last night.
Okay.
Feeding yourself positive thoughts and manifesting positivity, basically choosing to be positive even in a negative situation.
Absolutely. Those are the most important times to remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, because like, you know, you have all these like quote unquote and hashtag woke and, you know, all these like terms and things like that, that I think we get confused sometimes with a constant positivity, like on this constant wave of positivity, on this constant wave of things are great and my life is so awesome and stuff like that. And that's not really the case. You know what I mean? Like the real life is that things suck sometimes. You know what I mean? That sucky things happen, that we encounter sucky things, and it's a reality. But those are the times when it's like more important to be able to think, okay, it does suck, but I can still get through this, or this drawing isn't what I want it to be. Instead of telling myself that it sucks and crumbling it up, throwing it away, I'm going to keep it and set it aside and try to figure out what I can do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like when you're drawing a human figure or a human face. You know what I mean? You literally, if you're in a spot where you're feeling lost, you literally turn it to the side, or you literally turn it upside down, and you are physically looking at it from a different perspective to help you solve the problems. You know what I mean? And I think it's one of the things that's so cool about being an artist is that like we can do that. You know, we learn how to do that. I don't
Yes.
think we realize that we are, but I think that we are manifesting that kind of like that ability to be able to make things better.
Yes.
You know, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's one of the reasons that I like my job so much is like when people come in and they're like, man, I've been looking forward to seeing you and stuff like that. It's like, well, what do you mean? Like, you ready for your tattoo? They're like, yeah, but just like being in this environment and tattooed and getting tattooed and talking and stuff like that, man, it's so fucking fun. It's so awesome. I
Yeah.
feel like
Almost
like
therapeutic.
yeah, I can be, you know what I mean? I try to stay away from that to a certain point, but it definitely can be for a lot of people. Sometimes it's a little too much, but
Yeah, I understand that. I think just going through the pain of a tattoo and then coming out of it with something beautiful is the therapy.
oh yeah, for sure.
Because we
I
go
agree with
through
you.
so much, we go through pain and not necessarily something good comes from it, or we don't realize something good came from it for years
Hmm.
after. Yeah, when
Hmm.
we figure out the lesson that situation was meant to teach us somewhere down the road. But when it comes to tattooing, you're going through all that pain, but you have an immediate satisfaction of something beautiful at the end.
Yeah, for sure. The
And that,
transformation, like the physical metamorphosis.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, that is pretty neat. You know, and like,
you get to help people look like what they look like in their head.
yeah, for sure. I can see what you're saying. That is pretty cool to think about it that way. That's really neat. Because yeah, people either come in and they know they want something, and a lot of people just collect images. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
part of their personality too. You know what I mean? They want to have pretty things on their body and stuff like that, or cool things, or
Mhm.
badass things, or however you want to classify it. But I mean, that is pretty fun to think about it like that. And you do carry that around with you, and you do get compliments from people and stuff like that. You know, so that is pretty neat. You encounter a lot more people with it.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I'm
You
getting
know,
better at taking the compliments.
yeah, me too. I'm working on that still.
Yeah, I get a compliment and I'm like, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. I know exactly what you mean, man. Yeah, you know, like the longer I'm tattooing, um, the more and more I start to see people coming in for like larger tattoos, you know, like where they don't have anything on their arm at all or anything on their leg at all. And they come in, or their back, and they come in and they're like, I'm ready for a sleeve. And you sit down and you talk about all the ideas, you press out all the details, you get to a point where you're both happy with the design. And they walk out with the outline of a sleeve where they
Yeah,
came in with like nothing but bare skin. You know, I think we get so desensitized sometimes to what we do on a daily basis that we forget the impact that it's actually making sometimes,
yeah.
you know. I mean, because it's cool, you know, like you can make a painting and put it up on the wall, but all you have to do is really pick it up and move it to a different spot, you know.
Mm,
You know, it's better light in this other side of the room, or this color looks better in this room, or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, with a tattoo, people are walking around with that thing for the rest of their life, you know?
on a life of its own when it leaves us.
Yeah. And sometimes if they're a younger client, they'll be walking around with it a lot longer, even after we're gone, you know? So it's pretty
Mhm.
impacting. It's a pretty impacting thing to think about.
What I've always found very impactful about tattooing is it's the one thing people are going to take to the grave with them.
Yeah.
I mean, people say all the time, I want to take it with me. Okay, then put your money into body art.
Right.
Put your money into body art and you will take it with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny, man? It's like when you do get the occasional clients or the occasional customers that walk in, and I won't say clients, I'll say customers, because at the point of them walking in, not being sure if you're going to tattoo them or not, or even knowing who they're going to have tattoo them, it
Yeah.
is like a customer kind of thing, right? So it is pretty interesting when you do get those occasional customers that are like, how much do you want for this? Really? You know what I mean? It's like, well, dude, your shoes cost $200, man. You know what I mean? That iWatch that you have is like $500, dude. And it's
You're
like,
paying $10 for a latte.
yeah, exactly.
Don't have lattes for 10 days.
That's a latte for those
Then you get a
coffees.
little tattoo.
Yeah, totally. But like I'm saying though, like it's one of those investments. You know what I mean? It's a lot like a painting. You know what I mean? You walk into a person's house and you ask them who did the painting. You're either captured by it or you're not. You know, like it either invokes an emotion in you or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And one person can look at a painting and be like, yes, dude, this is it. You know, and I don't care how much it costs, I'm gonna pay it. I'm gonna buy that painting, I'm gonna own it. And another person will see, like, you spent how much? $2,000, $5,000 for that painting? Are you kidding me, dude? What? You know? You remember when flat screen TVs first started coming out? And they were like 2-3 grand a piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like other people that could afford it would buy it and they loved it. I mean, I loved it, but I couldn't afford it, so I didn't buy it. Like if I could have, I would have bought it. You know what I mean? But like, you know, they're so inexpensive and stuff now. But the point is that yeah, it's something like as simple as that. What holds meaning to you? What gives you pleasure? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you doing something without hurting somebody's feelings or emotions and stuff like that? Then have at it, buddy. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
no judgment here at all. Do your thing. You like buying shoes and collecting shoes and reselling them? Go for it. Not my bag, but if it gives you joy, then go for it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people doing that now.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that do it because they make money at it. You know what I mean? And that's never really been my thing. I think if I could do tattoos for trade and live a comfortable life, I totally would. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Entirely.
Some of my tattoos for trade. I know a couple people, they don't have a lot of money, but they have, I need work done.
Yep, exactly. Me too. It's really cool the labor part of things. You know what I mean? When you do tattoo the blue collar kind of people when they come in, like you just get to talking. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I do want this done, dude. Or can you show me how to do this? You know, I've learned a lot of carpentry stuff from like other people that do carpentry. You know what I mean? And that's been awesome to me because like during quarantine, man, I built at the shop that I had before. I had to build a front desk, and I learned how to make a front desk, like a little just entrance kind of front desk. You know what I mean? From this carpenter, and it was awesome. And I just traded him work for it. You know what I mean? So that's what I did over quarantine. You know what I mean? 2 months of being in my garage and going to the store and buying expensive wood and then like putting together this desk. But it was fruitful. You know what I mean? Like I did it with my hands and it was an awesome experience just to get to know how to do those things and share that time with that person too, you know?
Yeah, there's something satisfying about being able to accomplish something on your own and you made something with your own two hands.
Totally. Which is exactly what tattooing is too. You
Yeah.
know, or painting or any kind of art form. I mean, it's so crazy to think that like think about what we do. You know what I mean? Somebody comes in, they give you an idea of a tattoo, and you're literally taking this transfer of information through this phonetic sound that we hear. You know what I mean? You're not even hearing their voice, you're actually just hearing the molecules in the air bouncing around and you're receiving it. You know what I mean? Like it's incredible. But you take that and then you pull out these ideas from your mind and you put something on paper that wasn't there before.
Exactly.
You know, it's wild as hell, man. It's so incredible to think about. And like, no wonder we struggle with some of these things that we deal with as artists and things like that, you know, as a human being, even, you know what I mean? Like, it's no wonder if that's really the case. The mind is capable of so many things and we travel down so many facets of it so often in a day. Pretty wild. Bruno, thank you for the congrats on leading the drawing class. I appreciate that. Kyle Olson, have a great day, everyone. Gonna head out. You too, buddy. Thank you for
Take
joining
care,
last night. Thank you for joining today. Yep. Excuse me. Oh man. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if I can get back on this drawing a little bit. So we're gonna do the lettering across the top of the clavicle. So I've already got this laid out. Like I showed you guys how I just kind of screenshotted that thing. So I've already got it laid out.
Nice.
And yep, and I'm going to use that as the reference. I'm going to really play with the lettering a little bit more and kind of stylize it just a little bit more to kind of fit the clavicle and everything. And then he sent me this this reference here for the tattoo that we're going to do on his chest and stuff like that. So we're gonna do a cross instead. So it's so crazy. I don't know about you guys, but it's so hard. So for me sometimes to see a tattoo that is really well done and go, okay, I got to make this my own. You know what I mean? I got to make it my own. I don't want to steal it as is. You know what I mean? I don't want to replicate this entirely. I am going to use some of the tonal values and things like that that they're using in this tattoo already because they're so effective. You know what I mean? Like that stark contrast of blacks to like the negative skin tone and stuff like that. So, and then there's the lettering and stuff like that that he sent me too. That kind of fits it really well. So it's so hard, you know what I mean? To kind of like, I mean, do you find yourself struggling with that, Amber? Like with when somebody sends you a picture of a really good tattoo,
Yeah,
you're like,
you're like, this is done perfectly, exactly the way it is.
yeah,
I don't want to render it exactly the way it is because then it's not my work.
yeah, exactly. And you're just stealing somebody else's work and you're stealing their effort, right? And like we've talked about that so many times about like these Pinterest tattoos that people bring us, you know. So where do you find yourself starting whenever you are approached with this issue, this conundrum?
First of all, when somebody approaches me, I want this tattoo. I tell them I can make you something like that,
Yeah.
but that will be all your own.
Uh-huh.
Won't have the same tattoo on you as this person does.
Right.
So I can make you something like that in that kind of style, or like recently I did a watercolor flat feather on someone's neck, and what she had showed me was, you know, it was nice, it was done really well, but I was like, I'll do you a feather, but we're going to use a different feather. I'm going to change up the colors a little bit. We're going to make this more watercolor, you know, less solid, and give you a really nice tattoo, but that you will only be the only one that has it.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing to do for sure. That's definitely the thing to do. And then, you know, one of the other things that I find myself doing is when they bring in that reference is asking them questions like, what is it about this image that you like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it the image itself that you're enjoying? Like, is it as is? That's what you want to get tattooed? I think that's my first question, which usually helps me answer the way that you did too, which is like, look, this is somebody else's tattoo. There's a lot of time and effort that's been put in by the tattoo artist that did this tattoo. And then there's also the time, effort, and the pain and the payment that this client put in. You know what I mean?
Yes.
These tattoos are put out there to expose the artists as the skills that they have and the things that they like to tattoo. You know what I mean? It's not for you to just kind of copy and paste, you know? Other artists might do that for you is usually what I got end up telling them, but that's not the case in this situation. You know what I mean? That's usually one of the first things that I press out with them to kind of like talk about, am I a right fit for you? You know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people and it kind of eliminates a lot of the possibility of there being any kind of argument, whether it's heated or just a plain out discussion. You know what I mean? You hear that word argument, you automatically think it's like a negative kind of thing, but it's literally like a discussion about like points, right?
The give and take of ideas.
Right, exactly. So like it kind of will help you move on with that client, or it'll help you kind of eliminate any more time wasted. You know what I mean? So that's usually the first thing that I do too. And a lot of times people, you'll find out they're asking that question that it's just because they didn't know how to explain the idea that they had in their head. And that's the best way that they could see that captured it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are very, very visual. You know what I mean? You have to be able to see it in order to help explain the ideas that you have in your head. Like we're able to kind of take those ideas, like I said earlier, draw them out. for somebody, flush them out for somebody. But a lot of people don't think that way. They don't think in a interpretive kind of way, right? So that helps out a lot. And a lot of times they either like the black and gray, or they want color or something like that, or they like the colors that are in the actual tattoo. I find that the colors in a tattoo, I find that a lot with like watercolor tattoos for sure. You know what I mean? And they're like, I really love these purples and things like that. And a lot of times when they bring the really good watercolor tattoos, it's so perfect because you're like, okay, see, these colors look so much brighter because they've already used a lot of blacks and stuff like that in it. And you're not even paying attention to that. All you see is that bright, vivid tone. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and you're not
yeah.
paying attention to the contrast they use to make that tone so vivid.
Yeah, and it's another example of somebody like bringing you an effective tattoo and like, damn it, how do I change this now?
Yeah, it's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, man. So
Most of the regular clients know now that they're not going to bring me a tattoo and get a copy of that tattoo. So they'll text me, I like the wings on this one. And
Right.
I like this on this one. And I like
Uh-huh.
this on this one.
Mhm.
So I'd like something like that in your style.
Right, exactly. And like I said earlier, that this is the guy that I did the skull and the headdress on his ribs, and I love the fact that he wants to do black and gray, so that's great.
Hmm.
But and then he's already understood that we're not going to take an image as is and do it exactly like it either. So it's already good. And a lot of times with the clients that you have too, Amber, like, and for everybody else watching, is that the word of mouth kind of comes through that way too. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's great. You know what I mean? I've heard examples about people saying it's great. Like, he'll take your idea and just kind of flush it out and make it your own thing and stuff like that. So that helps out a lot
Mm.
as well. Now that already like kind of cancels everything out for that process of elimination, right? So that is fucking awesome. But yeah, so like now I'm faced with the question. The next step is changing it up. How do we do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I
Change
think,
it.
yeah. And a lot of times what I like to do is I'll go through, like, especially with wings and things like that. It depends on the subject matter. I'm a big fan of like the Renaissance period painting styles and things like that, you know,
Yes.
Caravaggio, you know, Michelangelo, things like those, you know. And that's where I draw a lot of my influence for like wings and things like that. You know, I think that those things are done so perfectly. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So like that's when I'm approached with a tattoo that's already done so well, and how do I change it? I start looking at older reference. You know what I mean? Things that aren't so up to date, and trying to find. A lot of times it's crazy too, because you'll find that the tattoo resembles a lot of things that you're already looking at. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that whole, you know, the form of best like compliment is by having your work stolen. But yeah, so sometimes I'll do that, and I find that works out really well for me. But I do like the structure and stuff like that of this wing, like especially with what he wants in the middle instead of a crown is like a cross. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a little bit. The crown is perfect for that tattoo, and the way the wings are formed, it's formed around the crown already. You know what I mean? So I automatically know that the first thing I'm going to do is, you know, like you can see how well that's contoured to that shape of
Yeah.
that, you know. So I automatically know that the cross is going to be thinner and take up less space. So I need a higher angle and things like that for my wings too. You know,
Yeah.
I do like these little feathers or these little striations that are coming off of it and stuff like that in the negative space. So I think what I do is I definitely go in and I start deconstructing how the tattoo was applied. So and
Yeah.
I try to keep that in mind for my tattoo. Like, okay, there's a lot of play on contrast here and positive negative kind of effects. You know what I mean? So I'll take that and use those principles in just my own drawing. So that's another good way to kind of get away from trying to do as much of your own thing as possible for this person.
Yeah.
And by talking to him, you know, that's one of the things that he kept saying. It's just so dark. It's just so dark. I love how dark it is. And in reality, it's pretty light, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the feathers and things like that are like a real medium or a light wash. You know what I mean? It's just those use of blacks and stuff like that and dark washes in the background that make it seem feathery and light. You know, so that's the other thing that I try to keep in mind too is what application was used in order to make that an effective tattoo, such an effective tattoo where you're like, dude, it's almost perfect. Like, what else can I do to fix or to change it? You know?
Yeah, one of the things I always have to keep in mind is I don't, unless I really, really pay attention, I don't push my darks dark enough.
Yep. I think that's one of the things we all struggle with, right? As tattoo artists, like, where does the
Yeah.
black go and how much of it do I need? It's always the case, isn't it?
Exactly. I'll look at something after it's healed and go, I really could have gone darker.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I know
It's one of the
exactly what you mean.
reasons I like doing a lot of tattoos in more than one session.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, like, it's all about, yeah, what works for you as the artist, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where we're so afraid because the black seems so permanent. I mean, with like, especially the approach with line work, right? Like,
Yes.
that stroke is there. It's not going anywhere now. You know what I mean? And when you're doing black and gray, especially, even with color, you know what I mean? And some of the processes of these like really dimensional, in-depth tattoos and things like that, there is a painterly kind of approach to it too, where there is multiple sessions and things like that. Like, I think what you're saying is like it's better to have it lighter and be able to add dark tones to it rather than it be too dark and you're like, well,
And
it's
then you can't lighten it up.
it's a dark mess and you're gonna see a blob from here on out. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's true. It's true. But that's another reason that like I've found with black and gray especially, it's really good to stick to like a 3 wash kind of method. You know what I mean? A dark wash, a medium wash, and a really light wash. And I'll go back and forth between the medium and the light and have a medium wash and a light wash of the same tone, but have 2 separate medium and light washes set up. So that way, one of them you can mix back and forth so so the other medium and light wash stay untainted. Does that make sense?
That
Yeah.
makes
So yeah, and then I'll make sure to rinse out my needles and things like that before I go back to the unmixed wash.
Mhm.
And even the dark, I'll make the dark its own separate. So there'll be 3, or there'll be 2 of each. So 2 dark washes, 2 medium washes, and 2 light washes. You know what I mean? So that helps out quite a bit. And it works out pretty well. And I love these kind of tattoos too, because I'll pretty much use like a 19 mag or 23 mag today with like a tight 7 liner or something like that. You know what I mean? Or a 14 round shader and just kind of get in on those edges with some dark washes and things like that.
Yeah.
Because everything's pretty loose. And I've been trying to introduce more line work to my tattoos again. And I really dig it. But with understanding edges and replacing the line work with those dark, crisp edges, it's really effective. And it's really good for the longevity of the tattoo too, like the life of it, you know?
Mhm.
So that works out pretty well. But let's see where we're at with time. Yeah, 9:52. I think I'm gonna go ahead and probably jump off here pretty soon so I can get this drawing ready. And it looks like I have a client coming in already. So Amber, you want to give a shout out real quick and tell everybody where to get a hold of you?
Sure. As always, thank you for hosting. I appreciate it. And I love being here. I'm Amber Morgaine, and you can find me on Instagram under Amber Morgaine and on Facebook under Amber Morgaine Originals and Looking Glass Inc.
Cool. Thanks for jumping in with us today, Amber. I appreciate it very much.
No problem. I enjoyed
Cool.
it.
All right, cool guys. Again, my name is Ricardo Sturdivant. Feel free to reach me on Instagram at Ricardo Sturdivant, or here on the Reinventing drawing groups. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a good day. Peace.
Take care.